to discuss, we're now joined from Cape Town by Women's Legal Centre attorney Sanja Bornman, and she joins us on the line. Is this a huge blow, Sanja, to everyone affected by and everybody who cares about gender violence in this country?
It is very disappointing and frustrating, especially because Anene Booysen initially spoke of there being at least 5 or 6 perpetrators and even mentioned one by name, and now only one accused remains. However, we are told that the police investigation has been finalized and the forensic report has been finalized, and apparently no physical evidence linking Mr. Davids to the crime was found. So the NPA is now obliged to rely on the outcome of the police investigation, and under the circumstances, it is thus correct to withdraw charges against Mr. Davids at this stage.
So you would say the National Prosecuting Authority could have done more here?
I think the NPA can only pursue charges in court if the investigation yields sufficient evidence for it to do so. Johannes Kana remains in custody and the NPA is pursuing charges against him. So given that the trial has not yet begun and no evidence has yet been led, one cannot yet make any conclusions about the NPA's performance in this case, I don't think.
It must be very frustrating and very difficult for the family, knowing that this man was named by Anene Booysen. She was raped, she was mutilated, named one of the alleged killers, but now he's been set free.
Absolutely. I cannot imagine the pain and the feelings of powerlessness they must be experiencing. Hopefully, though, the prosecutors have made a concerted effort to explain the situation to the Booysen family, and hopefully some understanding of the why and of the evidentiary and the legal reasons behind the withdrawal of charges will ease the pain somewhat.
Sanja, in this case, you're saying that there may be a valid reason why this was dropped if there is no physical evidence. But I guess we see so many of these cases being thrown out of court that people do have a feeling that the prosecuting authority is not aggressive enough, is not accurate enough when dealing with these sorts of cases. Is that a valid assessment?
I think that every case is unique and that cases are thrown out of court for many different reasons. And I think criminals particularly would be stupid to conclude that what's happened in this case, that if you don't confess, you will just eventually be freed. What's happened here in this particular case has very little to do with confession, and it has more to do with the physical evidence. And we must also remember that a suspect against whom charges have been withdrawn can always be recharged if additional evidence or testimony comes to light at a later stage.
Can you explain from the cases that you've followed, is this physical evidence absolutely paramount? What if the person who's still in the dock names some of the perpetrators and she did as well before her death? Would that oral evidence be enough?
Physical evidence and forensic evidence is often paramount in rape cases and in sexual assault cases. And I think that is because that is the thing that is particularly missing in this instance when it comes to Mr. Davids. That is the primary reason for why charges against him particularly have been withdrawn at this particular point in time. If Anene Booysen was still with us and she could in fact stand in the dock, I think that would have gone some way towards contributing to the body of evidence against whoever was accused of the crime. But under the circumstances, sadly, we don't have the benefit of her oral testimony.
All right, thank you very much. Sanja Bornman from the Women's Legal Centre, and she's an attorney.
News that moves. eNCA.com.